Once upon a time, we solved a huge public health issue by adding iodine to salt. Then we collectively decided table salt was unfashionable and started buying boutique salt that doesn't contain iodine. People began to feel tired and foggy and wondered why. Iodine is essential because your thyroid needs it to make hormones that control metabolism, energy, brain function, and basically how alive you feel on any given Tuesday. Not enough iodine, and the whole system slows down, like my boyfriend's laptop with 47 Chrome tabs open. Babe, do you really need that many tabs open?
What?
Anyways, fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, depression, constipation, dry skin, hair thinning, all the glamorous hints indicating you ain't getting enough iodine in your diet. In more serious cases, your thyroid literally swells into a goiter, like it's physically trying to scream for help. About a century ago, this was a massive public health problem. Inland populations weren't getting much iodine because they weren't eating much seafood. People were walking around tired, cognitively impaired, and rocking swollen neck glands. So, in one of the simplest and most effective nutrition moves ever, iodine got added to table salt in the 1920s. Boom, problem largely solved. Cheap, invisible, no taste change, no lifestyle overhaul. Just salt. And yes, this is why sea salt, kosher salt, lead-filled Himalayan pink whatever, most of them don't reliably contain iodine. So if you've gone full artisanal chef at home and ditched iodized salt, and you don't eat much dairy, seafood, or eggs, congratulations. You may be slowly recreating a nutrition problem while feeling smug about your bougie grinder. Mild iodine deficiency is sneaky. You don't wake up one day like, yes, Watson, iodine failure. You just feel off, sluggish, colder than everyone else, mentally foggy. Maybe your cholesterol creeps up. Maybe your mood tanks. Maybe your hair starts thinning and you blame stress, age, Mercury retrograde, or your nasty teenaged kids. Meanwhile, your thyroid is over here doing its best with the nutritional equivalent of fumes. Iodine is critical for fetal brain development, so deficiency can affect IQ, growth, and learning. This isn't fringe wellness talk. It's basic endocrinology. Now for the plot twist. The same element that keeps your metabolism humming also became a Cold War survival strategy. Because nuclear fallout releases radioactive iodine 131, and your thyroid, helpful little sponge that it is, doesn't know the diff between good or sus iodine, so it will gladly absorb the radiation too. That's how you get spikes in thyroid cancer, especially in kids, after nuclear exposure. Enter potassium iodide. Government stockpiled it. Civil defense pamphlets talked about it. Fallout plans included it. The idea was simple. Just flood your thyroid with stable iodine so it's already full, and it won't absorb much radioactive iodine. Now, flooding your thyroid with iodine is not an anti-radiation magic pill. It only protects the thyroid from radioactive iodine specifically, but not the rest of your fragile-ass cells from other radiation. It's a very targeted defense. Cold War fear made this mainstream, and the Chernobyl accident in the 80s made this legit. Areas exposed to radioactive iodine saw clear increases in childhood thyroid cancer. The risk was real. Still is. That's why potassium iodide is still stockpiled near many nuclear power plants today. Also, before you go on Amazon and order a megadose iodine supplement because some paid influencer said it boosts metabolism, increases sexual performance, and makes you look 10 years younger, you should know that more iodine is not always better. Too little messes up your thyroid, but too much messes up your thyroid. It's a Goldilocks nutrient. You want the just right zone, best derived from a balanced diet. Seafood is the clear winner. Seaweed is off the charts high in iodine, sometimes almost too high depending on the variety, followed by fish like cod, tuna, and shrimp. If you eat sushi regularly, your iodine situation is probably fine. Milk, yogurt, and cheese tend to be solid sources, partly because iodine is used in the cleaning solutions for dairy equipment, and some of it makes its way into the milk. Accidental fortification, essentially. Eggs are decent, but skip the whites, only because most of the iodine lives in the yolk. Plant foods are generally pretty weak in iodine because it depends on the soil they were grown in. Some soil is rich in iodine, some is nearly empty. You can't really tell by looking at the vegetable. Fun facts: cooking can reduce iodine content, and certain raw foods like kale, cabbage, and broccoli eaten in super large quantities contain compounds that can mildly interfere with thyroid iodine uptake. So the modern reality looks like this. We solved a huge public health issue by adding iodine to salt. Then we collectively decided table salt was unfashionable and started buying boutique salt that doesn't contain iodine. Meanwhile, people feel tired and foggy and wonder why. At the same time, emergency planners still keep iodine pills around in case of nuclear fallout. Humanity in a nutshell. We fix a problem, forget why the fix exists, replace it with something prettier, and then rediscover the original problem decades later while also worrying about radioactive apocalypse scenarios. All because of one tiny mineral your thyroid quietly depends on to keep you functioning like a normal human, instead of a sleepy, freezing, brain-fogged browser with too many tabs open.